Bless our gathering this moment. Bless this gathering with your spirit to direct and inspire leaders of this organization as they plan a way forward to better humanity and in particular our country Dominica. Bless us with your presence and grant us an openness to listening to one another as we plan and forge ahead for the good of humanity. Bless us also in a special way with good health of mind and body in this hurricane season. Protect us, preserve us, and grant us peace and happiness. That our deliberations today will bring glory to your holy name. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. This is our prayers through Christ our Lord. Amen.
You may be seated. Thank you so much, Father Francis. To officially open today's program, we will hear from a professional who has contributed significantly to Dominica's environmental initiatives and policy development. He will set the tone for today with reflection and commitment. Please welcome Mr. Edgar Hunter, the Senior Technical Advisor.
Honorable Minister Kozia Frederick, Minister for the Environment, Rural Modernization, Kalinago Upliftment, and Constituency Empowerment. Ms. Lisa Valmon, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, other Permanent Secretaries, Father Francis, Parish Priest of Our Lady of Fatima, representative of the Comptroller of Custom, Ms. Sophia Ansem Larrock, National Ozone Officer, other heads and staff of the Ministry of Environment, representative of the Ministry of Trade, recipients of certificates, students of the Refrigeration and Air Condition Technician course of the Dominica State College, staff of the Dominica State College, invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning and a warm and hearty welcome to every one of you as we gather to observe Ozone Day 2025. Today, we come together to honor the ozone layer. The ozone layer is a protective shield of concentrated ozone that surrounds the Earth, that absorbs most of the sun's ultraviolet light, preventing it from reaching the Earth's surface and causing considerable damage to humans, animals, and plants. To honor the Montreal Protocol adoption, the UN Assembly proclaimed September 16 as the International Day for the Preservation of the Ozone Layer in December 1994, and the first official Ozone Day was celebrated on 16th of September 1995. Today is a day for celebration. Today, we celebrate the resilience of the ozone layer and the natural processes that sustain it. We celebrate the scientists, the engineers, and the activists who work assiduously to change policy into action. Today, we celebrate the progress that has safeguarded millions of lives from increased ultraviolet radiation and related health risks. Today, we join the Ministry of Environment and the Government of Dominica in its ongoing commitment to continue to lobby equitable access for resources to ensure that there is a healthy atmosphere for all people everywhere. Welcome, everyone. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hunter. Our next speaker has been a champion for Dominica's ozone protection efforts, working tirelessly to align our national priorities with international commitments. She will also share a special message from the Ozone Secretariat. Please join me in welcoming Mrs. Sophia Ansem Larok, National Ozone Officer.
Honorable Cozy Frederick, Minister for Environment, Rural Modernization, Kalinago Upliftment, and Constituency Empowerment, Ms. Lisa Varmore, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Environment, Mr. Edgar Hunter, Senior Technical Advisor for the Ministry, Father Francis, Parish Priest of Our Lady of Fatima, Mr. Coppell, Representative for the Comptroller of Customs, heads of departments of the Ministry of Environment, other ministry government officials, invited guests, students, or recipients of our certificates and tools this morning. Well, good morning and welcome to this morning's ceremony. Today, we join the global community to mark World Ozone Day 2025 under the theme From Science to Global Action. This theme reminds us that careful scientific research first revealed the thinning of the ozone layer, and that those findings inspired an unprecedented global response. It is proof that when science guides policy and action, humanity can solve even the most daunting environmental challenges. Nearly 4 decades ago, the world united under the Montreal Protocol to phase out the substances that deplete the ozone layer. Chemicals such as chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs, and hydrochlorofluorocarbons, or HCFCs. This treaty is often called the most successful environmental agreement ever, and with good reason. Thanks to universal participation, the ozone layer is on track to recover to 1980 levels by mid-century. The protocol also delivers a powerful climate benefit. The phase-out of high global warming refrigerants has already averted billions of tons of greenhouse gas emissions. Here in Dominica, we are proud to contribute to this global victory. We have enacted strict licensing and quota systems to control the import of ozone-depleting substances. We have supported training for refrigeration and air conditioning technicians, ensuring they adopt safe alternatives and sound servicing practices. Our customs officers are trained to identify and prevent illegal trade in banned chemicals. These actions protect the air we breathe and the health of our people. A stronger ozone layer means lower UV radiation, reducing risk of skin cancer, cataracts, and harm to crops and our marine life, vital to an island nature that depends on agriculture, tourism, and our rich biodiversity. These actions protect the air we breathe and the health of our people. A stronger ozone layer means... The National Ozone Unit is the engine behind this process. We coordinate national policies to ensure full compliance with the Montreal Protocol and its Kigali Amendment. We partner with educational institutions like the Dominica State College to build a skilled workforce in climate-friendly refrigeration and air conditioning. And we engage communities and businesses, promoting energy-efficient, ozone-friendly technologies that save money and protect the environment. Our work is not only about regulation. It is about creating a sustainable future where Dominicans can enjoy clean air, secure livelihoods, and resilient ecosystems. While we celebrate achievements, we must look ahead. The transition to low global warming refrigerants is underway, but we must ensure safe handling and proper disposal to prevent emissions. We need continued investment in training, monitoring, and public awareness, so that every household, business, and technician plays a part. Science has shown us the way, Now it is up to all of us to keep the momentum. On this World Ozone Day, let us remember that the success of the Montreal Protocol proves something powerful. When nations listen to science and act together, we can heal our planet. I invite every citizen, every business, every young person here today to join us. Choose ozone-friendly products, maintain your cooling equipment responsibly, and advocate for policies that protect the atmosphere we all share. Together, we will keep Dominica and our world on the path from science to global action, ensuring a healthy ozone layer and a stable climate for generations to come. Thank you. I will now deliver remarks from the Secretary General of the United Nations, and followed by that we will have the viewing of 2 videos that the protocol had produced for World Ozone Day. 40 years ago, nations came together to take the first step in protecting the ozone layer, guided by science, united in action. The Vienna Convention and its Montreal Protocol became a landmark of multilateral success. Today, the ozone layer is healing. This achievement reminds us that when nations heed the warnings of science, progress is possible. Scientists are sounding the alarm once again. We are hurling towards pushing global temperatures 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, which with devastating consequences. I urge governments to fully ratify and implement the Kigali Amendment to the protocol, which commits to phase down hydrofluorocarbons, or HFCs, potent greenhouse gases used primarily in cooling technologies. And I also urge them to reflect this commitment in their new National Climate Plans, or NDCs. These must be aligned with limiting global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius and cover all sectors and greenhouse gases, including HFCs. Implementing the Kigali Amendment should avoid up to 0.5 degrees Celsius of warming by the end of the century. Paired with energy-efficient cooling, we should double these gains. Every fraction of a degree matters. Every action counts. On this World Ozone Day, let's recommit to preserving our ozone layer and to protecting people and planet for generations to come. A message from the Secretary General of the United Nations. We will now view 2 videos produced. So every World Ozone Day, the Ozone Secretariat produces visual and audio tools that we can use at our World Ozone Day celebration. And these are 2 of the videos that they have produced for sharing with any events that we were to hold today. So please pay attention and bear with us for the sound.
Or at least we think we do. In a thin layer high up.
What's going on? Sorry.
Above us, shielding life. We all know the ozone hole story, or at least we think we do. In a thin layer high above us, shielding life from dangerous UV rays, a hole had formed, putting life on Earth at risk. You've seen the images, but do you know how the ozone hole was discovered, or how the world was convinced to act? This is that story, and it's far from over. In the 1970s, scientists Cheryl Rowland and Mario Molina warned that man-made chemicals, chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, might harm the ozone layer. Many doubted them. The atmosphere seemed far too vast for humans to damage. But in 1985, scientists at the British Antarctic Survey noticed ozone levels over Antarctica were falling fast. One scientist on the team, Jonathan Shanklin, thought he'd proved there was nothing to worry about. Instead, he uncovered a crisis.
We had been monitoring ozone from Antarctica since 1956. The trouble was, when I compared the data from that year with my boss, Joe Farman, had done 10 years earlier, they didn't seem the same to me in the spring. And once I wrote that up, plonked it on Joe Farman's desk, he began to sit up and take notice, and that was really the discovery of the Antarctic ozone hole.
That same year, before the cause was even fully understood, nations adopted the Vienna Convention, a framework to share data, cooperate, and keep monitoring.
The Vienna Convention was the agreement that identified ozone depletion as a global problem. That was a massive first step to get the major countries, and most of the developed countries, to agree that this was an issue.
The hole itself was undeniable. Even without knowing the cause, it was clear the world was heading for disaster. But how do you fix something without knowing the cause? That challenge fell to Susan Solomon, a young scientist at the time with an idea many thought was outrageous. She believed icy clouds high in the Antarctic sky were helping chlorine from CFCs, the very chemicals Roland and Molina had warned about, destroy the ozone layer.
It was a kind of outrageous idea. It turned out to be the right answer, and the rest, as they say, is history.
The world was on track to face soaring skin cancer rates, collapsing food systems, and ecosystems in crisis. Instead, history took a different turn. In 1987, just 2 years after Vienna, the Montreal Protocol turned science into action. Because the foundation was already in place, the world acted quickly and decisively, phasing out the chemicals destroying the ozone layer. But the work didn't stop there. 4 decades later, that same system still drives scientists at stations around the world to watch the skies and protect our planet.
Here we are at Ultrajoch. It's the highest station where CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, are measured. We are at 3,580 meters above sea level, and there are about 12 stations with identical measurement systems and identical calibration.
Valley is a special place because it has got the longest continuous running ozone measurement program in the Antarctic. We also launch balloons once per day. The idea of it is to have a snapshot of the atmosphere, so all stations around the world do this at the same time.
As part of NOAA's Global Monitoring Laboratory, the Ozone and Water Vapor Group launches these small instruments, called ozone sondes, high into the stratosphere to measure Earth's protective ozone layer.
Science gets stress tested in ways that no other information does. But when you look at a scientific paper, it's been reviewed carefully by other scientists. And that is a pretty serious test.
One of the key things about the ozone hole discovery was the importance of long-term monitoring. And we had that continuous data set that allowed us to say, this is something new, we haven't seen it in the past. And it really was the discovery that allowed us to say to our funders, look, we've got to keep making these ozone observations to show what happens in the future.
The Vienna Convention was the first international treaty to be ratified by every country in the world. It continues to prove that observation leads to data, scientific evidence to action, and action leads to recovery. But only if the measurements keep coming.
UNEP had the honor to host. Of the many conventions, agreements, and scientific platforms that we at UNEP had the honor to host, I have to say that the Vienna Convention for the Protection of Ozone Layer is clearly amongst the most illustrious, because 40 years ago nations agreed to this convention, and just 2 years later the Convention's Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer was agreed. And that was undoubtedly one of the most important moments in the global efforts to protect the environment and human health. At this point, we are proud to say that through action under this convention, ozone-depleting substances have now been virtually eradicated, and the hole in the ozone layer is closing. Deadly ultraviolet radiation has been prevented from pouring through our planetary shield, where it would have otherwise killed people and destroyed crops. So in short, scientists detected a threat. Nations and businesses listened to the science. Together with industry, they quickly and decisively acted in the best interests of people and planet. That is multilateralism at its very, very best. The Vienna Convention and its Montreal Protocol continue to follow these principles, monitoring ozone, ultraviolet radiation, and control substance levels to ensure that the successes stick. And under the Kigali Amendment to the Montreal Protocols, nations are now applying these principles to slow climate change by fully ratifying and implementing the amendment. Up to half a degree of warming could be avoided this century through phase down of powerful climate-warming gases known as hydrofluorocarbons. Switching to energy-efficient cooling during this process, phasing down these gases, could double the gains. So in times when the planet is rapidly heating and other efforts to mitigate climate change are not hitting the levels required, succeeding with the Kigali Amendment becomes ever more crucial. So, as we celebrate 40 years of the Vienna Convention on World Ozone Day, I ask nations and the cooling industry to redouble their efforts on the Kigali Amendment, deliver every fraction of a degree of avoided global temperature rise possible under a universally ratified amendment, and save more lives.
Okay, so we've viewed the products prepared by the Ozone Secretariat, we've seen the science, and we've heard from the representatives of UNEP. Thank you for paying attention.
And I just want you all to join me in giving her a round of applause. Sophia has really been a champion in terms of, this cause with regards to the ozone, and I really want to commend her for her dedication and her commitment to this cause. So thank you very much, Mrs. Lara. Thank you. At this point in time, it gives me great honor in terms of welcoming a leader whose vision and advocacy guide our nation's environmental agenda. He will deliver today's keynote address, underscoring the importance of science and policy in achieving Dominica's goal of resilience and sustainability. Please welcome the Honorable Kozia Frederick, Minister for the Environment.
Thank you very much, P.S. And I guess by now we all know that the ozone layer is not a chicken. It's actually something different. Distinguished guests, PS, and Sophia at the head table, the wonderful staff of the Ministry of Environment, and people across the public service, and especially the young people here this morning, and the Reverend Father here. I really want to start by acknowledging the hard work done by the unit so far. And if you don't already know, we have a one-man ozone unit, or one-woman ozone unit. And so that says a lot, and we hope that we will build the capacity and to give support to Sophia as we move on. But to say that every year, on September 16th, we do celebrate this Ozone Day. And it just so happens today it's on a Cabinet Day. So I just want to acknowledge the leave that was given to me by the Cabinet of Ministers to be here, because I think it's so important that we marry the science with what we do at the policy level. We heard very candidly about the Montreal Protocol and how they came together to work and to mark this day, not just as a commemoration, but as a testimony of what humanity can do when we have the science and policy and also a sort of collective consciousness coming together to have a call for action in terms of dealing with a common issue and having a common purpose. From science to global action is important this year. It really captures the spirit of policy and togetherness and moving our policies forward. And so it is the science, as you already heard, that uncovered the dangers of the thinning of the ozone layer. It is the science that revealed the hole over the Antarctica. It is science that gave us all the tools to act. But it is very clear to me that the science is not enough. That the world governments, industries, citizens should always stand together. And this is what brings us here today, to have a collective mission to deal with the issues of the ozone depletion. And we have heard also candidly about the hydrofluorocarbons and all of this, and how do we treat with an amendment for the Kigali Amendment to tackle the hydrofluorocarbons that keeps on warming our planet. So we have strengthened laws. We have strength in improved licensing and quota systems. And also we have the strength in trained technicians who are able to deal with this on a daily basis. And I'm so happy to see some of them right here in the audience. And also we have the strength in customs officers who are the sort of buffer point to check what we have coming into our state. And we also have the strength in our importers, and who at the end will do, in most cases, the job to safeguard our borders from the importation of those harmful substances. And so, friends, it is important that we build on that knowledge, build on that experience, build on what has been done for over 40 years within our space. It appears to me that Dominica may have a very small footprint. As a small island state we're on the front line of climate change. This is almost like a common narrative we hear me say over time. We're on the front line of climate change, yet we don't do so much to affect the ozone layer. But we have to play our small part. And we speak to keeping the 1.5 to stay alive, which is a mantra in climate change. And although we have a very, very small footprint, we have to continue to play our part. Because after Hurricane Maria, for instance, we had a total destruction of our country. That clearly is the effects of climate change. Very, very clear. Yet we are not a major emitter. We do not pollute the environment in any massive way, but we get the blunt of that disaster. And what we have to do, we have to build back our country. And we have to build back our country basically on our own. And I'm not only speaking about what we did in terms of infrastructure, roads, homes, schools, etc., but the human capacity, people themselves had to be strengthened. And so there was a collective consciousness. And it's not by chance, though, because we have a very unique history of maybe 4,000 years of indigenous people and 400 years of people who have been enslaved. So by nature, we are fighters. So in the very same way, we have to transmit that fighting spirit into exactly what's happening now in terms of treating the ozone and how do we treat these dangerous substances. And we have to do it at various levels. The science is very clear. At the policy level, we support, but also we realize that the young folks who are here from the college and the colleges and the institutions of learning, they are key players in this because they have to carry on the work moving forward. And sometimes we discount the importance of young people. We, the older folks, because I'm on the verge of 50, I think. We older folks, we say, oh, the youth of the future. I find this is almost absurd because they are around us today. I think we have to give them the opportunity now. And through our program here, we'll be able to assist the folks at the State College to get the relevant training because the work has to continue. So the science is important, but we as human beings, as part of the human family, even if we have little bits of emissions, and we have to very little to enact those bigger changes in environmental conditions. We have to continue to play our part. So every household, every neighborhood, every block, every business place, every department of government have to continue to play a part. So I want to challenge the youth here today, especially the youth here, young folks at the front, to embrace the science and technology, but also innovate. Because it is one thing to understand science, and it's another thing to innovate and to add value to it. And what I find strange in a country like ours, where we have a number of people trained in various fields, the training is stagnant. So we are regurgitating things we learned 10 years ago in university, but we're not adding value to it by innovating. So I challenge you young folks here to innovate, and I think we can advance the progress that we have made. So today we're celebrating some scholarship recipients here today as well, and partner agencies, of course, customs and all the agencies who are part of this move, and also the leadership at the Ozone. I will say that again, the leadership at the Ozone unit is so important, and as we continue to tell that story, we have to continue to build on what we have. So all of these efforts we are doing, whether it is just checking out the materials we bring in, the customs doing their due diligence, students being trained, all of this will at the end commit to, in my view, a healthier space, a healthier Waitukubuli. It's important because that will transcend across borders. Because it is very clear to me that the effects of climate change, the effects of the ozone layer's depletion, does not affect one particular space. Because just the hole over the ozone means that the Antarctica, that means it will melt. And then we'll have sea water rising. And even if you say the Antarctica is way up north, it can affect us in the region. Actually, as we speak, there are countries, I have colleagues in the Pacific, like Kiribati and Vanuatu, who actually in their lifetime see the water level rises. And if we do it well, we may well see the water rising in Roseau, in Mahu, in Portsmouth, because these are the low-lying areas that can be affected if the effects of climate change are not come to a halt. So I beg us to take some action. So definitely from science to action, not just knowing the science and that's good. We know, it's almost like we know what to eat to have a healthy diet, but we just know it, but we're practicing. So we have to move from that science knowledge to the action, and I'm hoping that we can add value. All of you here will add value to the resilient measures that we speak about as a government. So I really want to thank you, and I especially want to thank you in the private sector, because today's a Tuesday morning. You have to be out there making some money, and you are here with us because you see it as an important piece to add some value to what we do at the government level, and the Ozone unit, and what's happening for the future and the present as we deal with the young people here. So I'm hoping that all of the presentation here will inspire us further in a good way to play our part in ensuring that we can keep the wonderful space we call home a much better place than it was when we came in. Thank you very much for your time, and I really, really appreciate the number of us who are here, and to understand that it's important to play our part, even in a small way, to keep in our commitment, not just as a country, but our commitment to humanity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. So following the Honourable Minister's address, we will also want to present some certificates, tools and equipment to graduates of the Dominica State College Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Program. This symbolizes our commitment to building local capacity, as the Honourable Minister mentioned, in energy efficiency and promoting ozone-friendly practices. So please, Honourable Minister, we invite you up to.
Okay, so right now we're going to present some certificates and tools to our recipients from the Dominica State College. They are now starting their journey at the Refrigeration and Air Conditioning Program. The Dominica State College is the main institution responsible for training our refrigeration and air conditioning technicians. And we started this program, this scholarship program last year. It's our second year. And it is an honor this year that we have 2 female technicians. It's very rare that you find that. Yes. So, and luckily for us, the Montreal Protocol has a very big gender agenda when it comes to females. We're trying to get more females into the protocol, into the fields, into a very, very, very male-dominated field. So far, we've only had 1 female technician that we've been pouring capacity building into, and we're happy now to have 2 more that we can aid. The unit is one of our mandates to build capacity amongst our refrigeration and air conditioning technicians. And as females, along with the Montreal Protocol's gender mainstreaming agenda, you all have access to all that we have to offer you. There's training available, there's more capacity building available, and and I hope that this is a field that you all remain in, and we'll be here to guide you all and give you all any assistance that we can along the way. So I will first invite Ms. Tricia Coriol to receive her certificate and her tools and equipment. Next, I'll invite Ms. Rael Leblanc. Rael. So thank you to the young ladies for choosing a field that is really not associated with our gender. I know your lecturer, Mr. Williams, who is here with us today, is expecting great things from you all. He has already started singing your praises. So we look forward to working with you at the unit, and we look forward to helping build your capacity as refrigeration and air conditioning technician.
So to close today's proceedings, we will hear from someone who plays a vital role in shaping sustainable policy frameworks. She will extend appreciation to all who have contributed so far to today's observance. Please welcome Ms. Lizana Dyer, Senior Policy Advisor, to deliver the vote of thanks.
I would like to again acknowledge and recognize the presence of the Honorable Kozia Frederick, Minister for Environment, Rural Modernization, Kalinago Upliftment and Constituency Empowerment, Ms. Lisa Balmon, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Environment, Modernization, Kalinago Upliftment and Constituency Empowerment, Mr. Edgar Hunter, Senior Technical Advisor in the Ministry of Environment, Mrs. Sophia Anselm Larocque, National Ozone Officer, Father Francis, Parish Priest of Our Lady of Fatima, other heads and staff of departments and staff of the Ministry of Environment, the representative for Customs, Mr. Coppel, Mr. Gregoire, representative for the Ministry of Trade, recipients of certificates and tools, and all other attendees present here today. I'm sure everyone in the room will agree with me when I say that this World Ozone Day celebration is truly a reflection of the theme From Science to Global Action, as recognition of our national ozone priorities truly demonstrates a commitment to environmental stewardship. Today, we've reflected on the remarkable success story of the Montreal Protocol, a testament to what global cooperation can achieve when guided by science. However, our global action does not end here. It is a powerful reminder that our vigilance and action are still needed to protect our ozone. The progress in healing the ozone layer is a demonstration to what is possible when nations act together. As we conclude today's program, let us take the spirit of today's events back with us. Global action starts with us. And so I challenge everyone in the room to become an active participant in the mission to continue healing the ozone layer. We can all start with small but deliberate actions, such as engaging in sustainable choices where we encourage the use of eco-friendly products and promoting ozone-friendly technologies, carrying the momentum forward by promoting advocacy, by supporting policies that protect the environment, and by simply starting within the homes. At this point, I'd like to express gratitude to the speakers, organizers, and all attendees who made it their effort to come here today, especially the youth. I'd like to commend the efforts and support of the Ministry of Environment in the execution of today's celebration. Special thanks to the Honorable Minister, Kozia Frederick, for his inspiring keynote address. Also, I'd like to recognize the National Ozone Officer, Mrs. Sophia Anselm Larocque, and team for the incredible work that she has been doing and continue to do in this space. Your dedication to the cause is truly appreciated. Special thanks to all other supporting government officials, attendees from the private sector, and representatives from the Dominica State College. As we conclude this celebration, let us remember the critical importance of our shared responsibility to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. I urge you to take the knowledge and inspirations gained here and translate it into concrete actions into your respective fields. I'm confident that together we are able to shape an inclusive and effective national response. Let us remember that solutions to global problems are possible when guided by science and propelled by our collective action. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the ministry, I thank you all for joining us this morning as we observe World Ozone Day 2025, guided by this year's theme, From Science to Global Action. Let us be reminded that it is only through evidence-based decisions and united effort that we can continue to protect our ozone layer and safeguard our future. As we leave here today, may we carry the messages that small island states like Dominica can lead by example through action, resilience, and innovation. Thank you to everyone and have a wonderful World Ozone Day. I invite you to join us for some light refreshments in building number 1, the annex building right there, please. Just for us to, break bread together. So thank you everyone and have a wonderful day.